Welcome back, my favorite hockey junkies. It's Filion Talks PWHL here. I'm not too impressed with the way the Canadians just played. A big, 7-2? Yeah, 7-2 loss against the Rangers. You really fucked that up. But, yeah, I got over it. I just put on 2.5 men and, I got back in the mood. And now I'm here to give you guys my October draft rankings. So now we up it up to 24 players. We now are starting to base it on this current season as well. And you guys are gonna like this. I promise you, there's gonna be a couple surprises in there. There's gonna be a couple players you don't even know. And you guys probably already know who I have at number 1, so let's just get right into it. Alright guys, so you already knew Viivi Vainikka. She's first overall, born in 2008, 22 years old, was an Olympian at the age of 20. She can play winger, but her primary position is center. She's about 150 pounds, which, is gonna give her a real, what's the word? I don't want to say pushover, but a real advantage, yes. A lot of women are under the weight of 130 pounds in the PWHL. And like I said, Viivi's the total package. She's got the shot power, she's got the face-off, the defensive read, the puck handling, the speed. Like, you name it, she's got it. And there won't be a team that regrets drafting her first overall. I can say that right now. For all you scouts out there watching this, just look at her accomplishments. She's got a bronze medal for a team that wasn't Canada or US. 4-time SDHL champion. And yeah, let me pull up her stats right here. Right here, as you can see, just 3 seasons ago, 2021 to 2022, this is where she started to become a point per game player in the SDHL. Also, the second season that she joined the SDHL, and remember, like I said, she's kind of on a dynasty team. She performed well in the playoffs, 5 goals in 12 games, that helps you win. Plus minus of 5, and didn't even take a single penalty minute. As we move to the next season, she moved to 41 points, 11 points in the playoffs, and again, no penalty minutes. And then she scored 23 goals as well that season, and then she did it again the next season, along with 29 assists, 52 points, and managed to get 6 points in the playoffs. Now, as we move to Elisa Holopainen, like I said, this woman, she's the next Ogie. As you can see here, she's a speedster, she's a sniper, a finesse player. It's listed on Elite Prospects, but I didn't even need to say that. You can tell just by watching her game. Like, she's won many U18 awards. She was born just a couple days after Viivi was, it looks like, and she also has a primary position of left winger. Her contract comes up this year, so that's why she made it into this year's draft rankings. She shoots left-handed and comes in at 128 pounds. And like I said in the Future Phenoms video about her, that's just about the one thing, the one aspect that doesn't compare her to Alex Ovechkin, but her shot makes up for it, and it'll be proven. Now, as we move on to her stats, she just got done playing for the Neisten Liga, and it's not the worst league in the world. A lot of players come from there. Viivi came from there. In fact, a lot of players on this list, in fact, came from there. She just got done with an assistant captain role on the team where she put up 32 goals in 19 games, 25 assists, 57 points, 6 goals, 43... or no, not 6 goals, 6 penalty minutes, and a 43 plus minus. And in the playoffs, she put up 14 points, 9 goals, 5 assists. And that when you got a playoff that's one thing teams do look for in players. Can they perform in clutch time? And Elisa Holopainen is just another one of those players. Alright. One of everyone's college favorites, Abbey Murphy. This woman has the shot of Pavel Datsyuk. In fact, each game I watch, she tries something new. She seems to even create some of her own moves sometimes. I don't know if any of you seen that penalty shot goal that she scored yet, but it was absolutely insane. She played that goalie and chopped him up. She made the mac and cheese, and the goalie was the cheese. And she just smacked him. It was smack and cheese. At the age of 22, she's 5'5", 146 pounds, right shot, and she's normally a winger, playing for the University of Minnesota right now. Let's see if we can get her stats up here. Yep, right here. She's over a point per game player. She almost doubled her points last season. Hold on one second, pulling her stats up right here. What you're seeing right here is just screenshots. Here we go. Yeah, she had 33 goals in 39 games. Now, she's in probably the best division of college right now. The Big Ten. Minnesota, they always come to play every year. Yes, she may have gotten a bit of penalty minutes, but you know what? You gotta do that if you're a goal scorer. You gotta get that puck by any means necessary. You know what? The passers, they get the pass to the goal scorer to score goals. And it's what she does, she takes penalties to score goals. Alright, so here we are, guys. We have Haley Winn at number 4. And yeah, she's another right shot defenseman. She's actually pretty tall too, 5'10". She's one of the... You might notice that she's one of the players who's only played 4 seasons in college so far, but my rule was that if they're a senior in college, she is a senior in college, so this is likely going to be her last year, and yeah, she made the list. She's absolutely very skilled at 5'10". She's got the body to be a defenseman. Oh no, that doesn't say 5 foot. Oh my goodness, excuse my eyes. 5'6", excuse me. Also coming in at 150 pounds. She comes from Rochester, New York, so, you know, it's a little big around there. But as we look at her stats now, you see last season, she really played well for Clarkson University. She got 10 goals, 29 assists, and 39 points, in 38 games. 12 penalty minutes divided by 2, that's 6 penalties in only 38 games. That's pretty impressive. She also came out with a plus-minus of 23. Now that's pretty good playing for Clarkson University too. She's been making the World Championship every year as well, as you can see, for USA, and she's been doing pretty good too. 5 assists 2 years ago, and then last year she had 2 goals, 1 assist, 8 plus minus. Yeah, that's really, really good. The question is, will she be able to keep that up if she does get drafted? And I think she will. It's not going to be a problem. On to Casey O'Brien, the leading point scorer in the NCAA so far. Casey O'Brien has been with Wisconsin for 5 seasons now, I believe. Let me pull that up right here. Yep. And she was even the assistant captain back in 2023. I don't know how she lost that, but she did. She's won the NCAA championship twice because, of course, University of Wisconsin is a very good program which produces very good players. But, you gotta be a very good player just to get into that program. And, she did, and she's proven to be the best player on that program so far, offensively at least. I wouldn't put her above Caroline Harvey, but she's quite talented. 5'4". She doesn't have a weight listed, but I'm sure that'll come out in time. Shoots left-handed. She didn't have many season stats up. Let's start with the last season's. Yeah, she was about 9 points away from getting a 2.00 points per game average. She had at least an assist per game with 50 and 41, scored 23 goals, only took 12 penalty minutes, and had a plus-minus of 53. Now, that could be looked at bad defensively, 73 points, but only a 53 plus-minus, but you know what, it's about the with players like Casey O'Brien, she's clearly a playmaker. And, it's not all on the forwards to play defense. The forwards, they're out there to play offense, and that's what she is doing. On to number 6, I believe. This is 6, right? I should have really numbered these. Yes, we are at 6. Nicole Gosling. She has won... Oh man, I can't read that. A World Junior 18 championship. A World Junior Championship. A gold and a silver 18 medals, and a World Championship gold medal playing for Canada. Now, to get on Team Canada as just a 22-year-old, one of the top 2 teams in the world, is already impressive on its own. But the way she performed there, she may not have put up any points, but she played so good defensively. came out with a plus-minus of 1. And she doesn't look like she's stopping at all anytime soon this season. Playing for Clarkson University this season. Excuse me. Has 3 goals so far this season, 6 assists, 9 points. But last season, she did wear the A, and she did look like she was wearing it proudly. Got 14 goals, 25 assists for 39 points, was just under a point per game, but you know what? She's using it as confidence, clearly, this season. Had a plus-minus of 24, and it looks like she only took 20 penalty minutes, which, you know what, as a defenseman is very good. That's like 1 penalty every 2 games. And in college, penalties are taken a lot. You'd be surprised. If you don't watch college hockey, you'd be surprised how many penalties get taken a game. And she hasn't even taken any so far this season. Oh, this is an interesting one. Number 7, Josefin Bouveng. She is a player a lot like Viivi Vainikka, but I have her ranked so low because of the league she's playing in. The difference between the leagues those two play in is a difference to me. Like the SDHL and the NCAA, like you can clearly tell which leagues are better. You put the top team from the NCAA, which is the University of Wisconsin, versus the top team of the SDHL, which is Luea Hockey Federation. Luea's gonna win, no fucking doubt. And it's not the NCAA's fault, it's about experience. But Josefin Bouveng's a two-way center who's 5'9", 152 pounds, came over from Sweden to play in the NCAA for the University of Minnesota, and she has been absolutely terrific so far, offensively at least. Let's get right into it. She's been, as you can see by her stats, she's been clearly dominating. And if we start with last season, where she got 50 points in just 39 games, you know, you can tell that like if you were to make a guess, you'd probably say that she was a playmaker, but if you actually watched her, she definitely is a two-way center. You know, she does not take penalties a lot. She wins a shit ton of face-offs. She's playing for the World Cup, not the World Cup, excuse me, the World Championship for the team of Sweden, where she actually managed to score 4 goals last year in 5 games. But in college she scored 19 goals, 31 assists, and 50 points. And, you know, stats are just stats. When you talk about a team that makes it to the finals, stats are just stats to players. You know, and same to scouts, you know, they ask the question, like, how do you handle the big situation? They get to say that. On to the next person, Makenna Webster. This player is going to be an exciting one, I can tell you guys that right now. This player plays a lot like Nathan McKinnon. Her stats may not show it, but if you watch her play, she has the puck handling skill of an absolute fairy goddess. You would think that she's a fairy goddess on the ice. She's won the NCAA championship, obviously last year. The Ohio State Buckeyes won it. She's played for Team Canada at the U18s. Hold on a sec, I'm pulling up. Why is her name not up here? There it is. She's right shot. She's 5'3". Her weight is not listed. She's from St. Louis, so it's a bit from Ohio. I'm sure if you ask her, she's probably dealing with that length being away from home. Now, as you can see, she did start her first 2 seasons off at the University of Wisconsin, where that second season, she absolutely went berserk. She scored 53 points in just 38 games, and, playing for a team like that, it's absolutely expected. But when she moved to Ohio State, she was still over a point per game. And just last season, she finished just under a point per game. But if you can tell by one thing by her, she is a disciplined player. She has only gone twice in the past 10 years where she has gotten more than 10 penalty minutes a game. Or not a game, excuse me, a year. Gosh, that would have sounded really bad. But yeah, this season she is wearing the A for Ohio State, and she's not doing so bad so far. In 6 games, she's off to a 4-point start, 2 goals, 2 games, but Ohio State is definitely not as good as it was last year. A lot of their players got drafted in the PWHL, and she's gonna have to learn to adjust. Next, we move to Sanni Rantala, and I don't even need to get into the player type, because as you can see down there, he's clearly an offensive defenseman. Playing for Finland, excuse me. Had a long day. Yeah, playing for Finland. He's already been to the Olympics. As you can see, he's won a bronze medal. Hold on a sec. It's playing for Frölunda in the SDHL already, the second best league in the world. He's 5 foot. Again, like I said, I've had a long day. She is listed at 5'8", but her weight, 139 pounds. She could put on at least maybe 5-10 more pounds, average that body height out, but I ain't the coach. As I said, she was a right shot defenseman. She's won bronze medal at the U18 World Junior Championship, bronze medal at the Olympics, bronze medal at the World Championship, and she made the U18 All-Star team. And if we move to her stats, she was playing in the Neatby Liga up until just last year. She was playing for 7 seasons in the Neatby Liga before she ended up moving to the SDHL, where she is still absolutely performing. 8 points in 11 games, 2 goals, 6 assists. As a defenseman, not only. She's only taken 2 penalties, it looks like. And she has a plus-minus of 9. Playing for Frölunda, I'd rank Frölunda probably the second or third best team in the SDHL right now, so every time they play Luea, they're bound to drop a few goals, at least. But every time I've seen her on the ice against them, she's done really good. I think she's only allowed, maybe 1 or 2 goals up while she's been playing against them. Now, we move to one of my favorites, Kristina Kaltenkova. She might not have a lot of information listed on her, but this is a woman that can actually help the PWHL grow. If you don't know, I believe it's the 3rd most percentage nation-wise. I believe it was just a little under 8% of players are actually Czechia natives. And this year they're actually holding the World Championship for the women's out in Czechia. So I'm expecting to see a bit of growth out there this season, and maybe Kristina Kaltenkova can be the face of that. She normally plays center, but, you know, she's listed as a forward. She's won two, what were those championships? I forgot to check on those before I switched to her stats. She's won 2 Czechia championships. And as we get into her stats, as you can see, she's clearly probably the best player offensive-wise for Colgate since she's arrived in the NCAA. Even since the first season, she was just under a point per game, and since then, she hasn't been under 50 points. At least a 20-goal game, 20 goal seasons, 3. She had 28, a 24, a 27, and then she ended up with 53, 57, 57 points. But there's one thing you might notice about her, and that's her penalty minutes. You know, those can rack up a bit. You know, she's already at 10 so far in 8 games this season, and that's something that can hurt players' draft stock going in. You know, we'll have to see how it affects her going in to the draft. You know, we don't truly know. Next, we have Lacey Eden, Casey O'Brien's teammate at the University of Wisconsin in the NCAA. This woman has also won quite a bit of awards. She can be a bit of a unicorn, if you will. You know, I have her ranked. She may have great stats, you know, based on last season. You know, she got 56 points in 41 games, but, you know, I keep going back to this. You know, the NCAA, it's a league you can't compare to the PWHL. You know, the experience, the skill, it's just not there. And when you're on a team like the University of Wisconsin that just dominates literally every other team, you know, it's hard to tell where they will stand out in the PWHL. But as you can see, she has won 2 different NCAA championships. She's won a gold medal and a silver medal at the World Championships, a gold and silver medal at the U18 World Junior Championships, and got named to the All-Star team at the U18. Now, like I said, she got 56 points in 41 games last year, you know. She's pretty disciplined, doesn't take a lot of penalties. In fact, 2 seasons ago in 40 games, she didn't even take a penalty. But here's the thing. If you look at her World Championship, if you don't know this about Lacey Eden, she plays, if I'm not mistaken, she was playing third line at the Team USA for the World Championship. And she was still gaining this good of statistics. You know, I wasn't trying to make her look bad just now, but she's, like I said, she's gonna be a unicorn, and, you know, it's, with unicorns, it's all about where scouts are gonna have their own opinion. On to our next player, we got Kendall Cooper, the Braid. She can also be a bit of a unicorn, you know? She doesn't have it's hard to tell what her specific player type is, you know? Playing with Quinnipiac, they've had quite a few upsets so far this season. In fact, I believe it was them that just upset, I believe it was either St. Cloud or Ohio State just the other night, but point is, they played absolutely amazing defensively, and Kendall Cooper was one of the reasons why. Now, coming from Canada, she clearly has the love for hockey, growing up in a place where hockey is literally life. She has gold and silver medals at the U18 World Junior Championships, and she also got named to the All-Star team as well while she was there. And if we look at her stats, let's see, her plus minus, you know, it's a thing that can be worked on. Quinnipiac isn't really the best team, you know. I don't think I can remember a time that they even cracked the top 10 in rankings. So whenever they face a team that's usually in the top 10, they usually get stomped on offensively. So that could be a reason why her plus minus is looking so low. Another reason you could be seeing that is because Quinnipiac does not really have a lot of other good defensemen besides Kendall Cooper. Like, I think I can name one probably, and she probably isn't going to be ready for a few years, so I might as well not even get into her. But as you can see, she clearly can put up goals. You know, just last season she put up 11. You know, she knows how to be a team player as well. Now, as we go on to Rory Guilday, we got a bit of a big girl here, 5'11", 158 pounds if I'm reading that correctly. She plays for Cornell so far, or not so far, this year. Oh no, I'm looking closer at that now. It says 161 pounds. I'm sorry about that. She is a defensive defenseman, and she clearly does very good at her job. You know, she grew up in a place where defensive defensemen usually thrived. You know, a lot of defensive defensemen actually grew up in Minnesota. Not saying that it's a connection, but it's something that can be related to. As you can see, she's won some medals down there, and let's get into her stats, in fact. As you can see, she's won, or not won, last season she got 6 goals and 11 assists for 17 points. Had a plus minus of 21, so, you know, she stayed pretty average around there, especially good playing for Cornell. But she did, you know, 18 divided by 2, that's 9. You know, she took 9 penalties in 32 games. You know, that's not bad. That's about average. You know, she's not the most disciplined player in the world, but, you know, she knows how to play, and that's what you're gonna get out of a player like Rory Guilday. I wonder why it's not showing her. Oh well. Could have swore at least Cornell made the playoffs at least once. These players. No. I guess Elite Prospects knows more than me. On to our next player. We go to the first goalie of the bunch from the SDHL, also from Frölunda, same team as Elisa Holopainen. Stephanie Neatby. 6 feet tall. You know, teams are gonna love that. They're not even gonna be able to see over that. They're just gonna see a brick wall that's gonna be named Stephanie Neatby, and it's gonna be on a draft name ticket that's gonna be sent to the podium on draft day. You're gonna see her name go. I promise you. She may not have many awards, but she's playing in a very good league right now. She left home from Toronto to go play in this league, in fact. So she's showing much courage, in fact, leaving home just to go chase her dreams and make herself better so she can find a professional league to play in. Which I would say by now she has, but if she wants to find better players, I think she has the potential to become better. Now, if we look at her stats, she's been playing in the SDHL for the past 5 seasons. Yes, that's correct. The past 5 seasons. But, you know, her stats, you know, they've been up and down. You know, the first season she got there, it didn't look like a very good start. You know, goalies, you'd be like, oh my god, Filion, those stats aren't bad. You'd be surprised how not a lot of scoring goes on in the SDHL. Like, teams get shut out quite a bit. And I usually see it under at least 1.85, usually. So like what you see this season so far, yeah, she's having a good season so far. 5-2 so far, yeah, in 7 games. Just to see if she already has 1 shutout, and you know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been against the Luea team. They might have done it in a shootout, but they still did it. Whew. Maggie Nicholson. One of my favorites to watch on defense. At the University of Minnesota. Like I said, another heartbreaking story to tell the way they lost in the finals last year, but you know, they're gonna have a different look this year with Ohio State's team almost completely being gone. You know, Makenna Webster's basically the face of that team now. As you can see here, she's won a couple medals. Let's see if I can pull them up on my screen. Where are we? Maggie Nicholson, number 15. She's won 2 U18 World Junior Championship gold medals, and she won 1 U18 World Junior Championship silver medal. She's listed as 5'9", does not have a weight, but she is from Minnetonka, Minnesota. So, like I said, another place where defensive defensemen grow up, and you're going to be able to tell clearly by her stats. She doesn't get into the offense much. She's way more of a defensive player, and so far this season she doesn't even have a point, but you know what, it honestly doesn't matter if you're helping your team in a different way, and that's what she is doing. You know, she's a defenseman, she's helping her team play defense, and she's very, very good at it. You know, it's one of the reasons why they made it to the finals last year, you know, because of not only Maggie Nicholson's play last year, but who was I just thinking of? Nelly Layton, sorry about that. But, you know, she doesn't take penalties a lot. She's pretty disciplined. She knows what she's doing, and you know, she's gonna find herself a very good draft position. On to our first Swiss player, Sinja Leemann. She is quite the player. In fact, she is listed at 5'6", 137 pounds, which is 62 kilograms for all you nerds. 22 years old, but does not have a place of birth listed. That's a little interesting. She's won 3 different SWHL League A championships. That's the top league in the SWHL. That's the top one, not the affiliate. And, that's a good league to win. That's not a bad league. Skill-wise, I'd say it's not far under the SDHL. I'd probably rank it the third best league in the world, in fact. And with her winning the championship in that league, that's going to catch scouts' eyes, That's one of the things I noticed in the first two drafts, a lot of players who won championships recently were drafted. Maybe not in their whole careers, but recently. But not only the experience, you can tell by her stats, she brings skill with her too. She's already projected to have 24 goals so far this season. She's a pretty good sniper. She's been the captain, in fact, of her team for the past 3 years, including this one. So not only does she bring experience, not only does she bring championship experience, she also brings leadership, skill. The only thing that I think sets her this far back in the rankings is probably the fact that she plays in the SWHL, Another thing about this league is the ZSC Lions. They're also another, I don't know if I'd say dynasty team, but yeah, they've won quite a bit. Last season she scored 25 goals, 27 assists, 52 points. She was nearly at that 2-point per game average. But let's move on to our next person. We got Hanna Olsson. Hanna Olsson is probably another unicorn, I'd say. She's a little older than some of the people on this list. The oldest I go is 26, but she is 25. She can play center and wing. This is a player I haven't seen much. She's not really. She jumps around between the second and the third line in the SDHL very quietly too. She may not notice it, but it does happen. Listed at 148 pounds, she's won the SDHL championship twice, and she also won a U18 World Championship bronze medal. And as we get into her stats, last season she did not play a lot of games. I don't really know what was the story on Hanna Olsson. If I'm not mistaken, let's see here. Was it a bit of an injury? Yes, she was injured. She had a season-ending injury. What was it exactly? We need to know what kind of injury it was. Scouts really take a look at that, She may be a good player, but scouts really do take a look, what kind of, for instance, with the Caden Lindstrom situation, a herniated disc is it's a serious injury. An injury that a lot of players don't come back from. In fact, it ended Tony Romo's career in football. Well, that specific injury may not have ended his career, but it led to the end of his career. He got multiple herniated discs, and I think it just led to him saying, fuck it. Next, we have Julia Liikala. Another player from the SWHL, of Finland, in fact, who also made the Olympics. In fact, she is another sniper where teams are gonna like, you know, a sniper playing in a league like this, you know. As you can see, she's listed as a give-and-go winger, a sniper. You know, she's got that passing ability too. She's a 2-time world champion bronze medalist, a Olympic bronze medalist, a U18 World Junior Championship bronze medalist, and those are pretty good accolades to have this low on my rankings. She's also a right winger, listed at 5'5", 141 pounds. And like I said, she's playing in the SWHL, but she is from Finland. You know, that's a pretty big jump to make. She was playing in the Naisten Liiga last season, but just this season she did make the jump. And last season, as you can see, she the past 2 seasons she's almost scored a goal a game. In fact, the past 2 seasons, she's been over a point per game by at least 4 points each time. You know, as you could see in 2022 to 2024, you know, she was the alternate captain. She got, how many goals is 28 plus 24? That would be 52. 52 goals in just 56 games. That's absolutely impressive. And in the playoffs, she got 14 and 20 in those 2 seasons. You know, that's impressive. And in fact, in this jump so far, it doesn't seem to be affecting her. 8 games played, 5 goals, 9 assists for 14 points in just 8 penalty minutes. Now, the SWHL, the SWHL, sorry, that's something I'm going to have to get used to. The SWHL usually does not post their plus minuses, so it's not a huge stat, you know, but for defensemen, I guess you're just gonna have to literally go and watch. Jenna Bugliani, the only other Ohio State player on my rankings. She's a bit of a unicorn as well. You know, she doesn't strike me as, hey, look at me, draft me, guys. You know, she can play it pretty cool. You know, being 5'3", just 22 years old, already winning an NCAA championship. I'm surprised that she didn't get named the captain last year as well. Honestly, I saw that captain leadership last year, and I was like, what? We're not going this direction? But you know what? It's alright. It's okay. She's a point per game player. She's clearly a very, very skilled player as well. You know, she already has 8 goals so far this season in just 11 games. You know, she's taken 3 penalties, but you know what? That's sniff, nothing to snuffle about. You know, people take penalties. Last season, like I said, she was a point per game player, getting 15 goals, 23 assists, and 38 points in just 35 games. Had a plus minus of 42, 22 penalty minutes, and, you know, that helped their team win a NCAA championship. And you know what? That's something she's always going to look back on. That's a story she's going to be able to tell. When scouts ask her, hey, what do you remember about winning that NCAA championship? She's gonna be able to remember it. I wish it had the playoff stats though. I knew I could have sworn that Cornell made the playoffs, but it even wasn't so in Ohio State. But as we move on to the next player, we have another defenseman, Brooke Brooke Becker from Providence College, listed at 5'8". She is a right shot defenseman, which honestly, if I'm not lying, it's a bit more scarce in women's hockey. So she's definitely going to catch some eyes. She may not have that, what's that? Point per game aspect. Sorry. It's been a long night, like I said, but, you know, she's a two-way defender, and she knows she can read it may not look like her defensive read is as good as it actually is, but it really is. For all you scouts out there looking, you know, you'd be passing over an amazing player when looking over Brooke Becker. You know, she may not put up the offensive numbers, but that's okay. You know, she's not there to play offense. She's there to play defense. She's there to stop goals from going in. If you want to beat teams like Princeton, like Minnesota Duluth, you know, you're going to need good defense. And you know what? She brings that to the table. You know, you're going to have to find other offensive players to bring in. But you know what? If we look at her stats right here, you know, she hasn't put over 5 goals a season since being in college, but that's okay. She's got quite the penalty minutes racked up on last season, but you know, it is what it is. You know, 42 divided by 2, that's what, 21 penalties in 35 games. That's, for one of those is probably a fight, it looks like. Could have been a game misconduct, who knows. But point is, you know, she can stay disciplined. On to our next goalie. We got Sanni Ahola. She has been playing for the St. Cloud University in the NCAA. And in fact, she is a lot better than people actually think. You know, they look at her and they see her let up goals in college and they'd be like, oh my god, she's letting up goals against college players. And you know what, it's not like that. You know, some goals are just unstoppable. Not a goalie can't get a shutout every single night. But if, you know, she's been playing for Finland. She's been playing for Finland at the World Championships for the past 2 seasons. You know, that's not something to bark about, especially as a 24-year-old. And she hasn't done bad either. Like, if we... Hold on one sec. As you can see, she has clearly won a bronze medal and got named to the All-Star team at the World Championship. And yeah, let's get into her stats. As I was saying, she got named to the World Championship for Finland, and she played 9 games in the past 2 seasons where she did very, very good. As we see in her first 3 games, she got a .67 save percentage. Or no, a .67 goals against average, a .95 save percentage, and went 3-0 at the World Championship. And then in the second season, that's where she's met her little stump. You know, she went 3-3, .91, and then went 2.61 with the goals against average in 6 games. But you know what? That's still pretty good, playing for a team that isn't Canada or Finland. Or not. Playing for a team that isn't Canada or USA, excuse me. But as you can tell by her college stats, you know, so far this season, she's off to a great start. You know, 5 games, she's 4-1. You know, she's got a 1.60 goals against average. You know, she's off to be, she's she looks like she's raising her stock pretty well. Now, let's move on to who I believe is the top defenseman, the top draft-eligible defenseman from the SWHL this season, and that is Laura Christian. She's won the SWHL championship twice. She's a right shot defenseman, like I said. Those are getting pretty scarce nowadays. Doesn't quite have a birthplace listed, that's weird. It has her weight, but not her birthplace. I believe that says 141 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Let me click on that. Yep, that is correct. And another thing about her is, she, when you first look at her stats, when I show you them in a second, it may look like she's an offensive defenseman, but I'm telling you right now, she's not. She's a two-way defender, and she can play both ends of the ice. You'd think that she was a two-way forward if I didn't show you at first. But if you also look at this here, she also has that leadership ability. 2 seasons ago, she was the captain of the SC Langathal Demon. And then when she decided to leave and went to Bern-Fron, she didn't quite get her C back. She got the A, but after a season, she worked hard and she got her C back. In fact, last season she did go a point per game. She got 7 goals, 21 assists, and 28 points in 28 games, where she also only took 1 penalty in 28 games. How impressive is that? If you look in the playoffs as well, she didn't put up any assists, but 2 goals. Goals wins games. You don't, oh my god, that's an assist. That's no. Now these next 2, I bet you guys are really gonna like. I didn't know of these 2. Well, I obviously know of these 2. I just didn't know how good these 2 were until I saw them the other day. The Halanova twins are 2 Czechia twins that play. They bounce around from Czechia 2 to the top Czechia league. They've been doing that this season, and they've honestly been dominating both leagues. I don't know why they don't just keep them up in the top league. It must be an injury thing, or like they're paying them money or something like that. But if you look at here by their stats, let's see here, click on Alexandra. Yeah, as you can see here, she's been dominating both leagues. She's literally has identical stats, just 3 more games in the top league. That's nothing. Literally nothing. 3. I see these 2. I don't want to compare them to the Henrik and Daniel Sedin, because I always saw Henrik as like the passer and then Daniel as like the goal scorer. I don't see that with these 2. I see both of these 2 having both of those abilities, like Alexandra and Sandra Halanova. They both got wrist shot, they both got the passing ability, they both got the accuracy, they both can play defense, they both got speed. Scouts are really gonna be... I'm literally gonna be fucking baffled if a trade does not happen on draft day to try to get these twins to stay together. It's like, look what they've already done already. Like, if we, just at the age of 24, they're both 5'5", of course, left shotties. but they've already won 4 different Czechia championships. Now, they've been playing in the top Czechia league now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is their 9th season there. And for some reason, just 2 seasons ago, they started playing them in the 2nd, and there was absolutely no need for it. They were above point per game players. They should not have been seeing that time at all. I don't know what the deal was, but you know what? These 2 twins, they're gonna be amazing, and I can promise you guys that. But another thing is that, you know, like, you may think that Sandra might be the passer, but she's not. I promise you guys this. Like, if you look from her 2022 to 2023 season, she put up 43 goals in just 14 games. That's not something fucking passers do. No, those kind of players, they manage to what's the saying I'm looking for? They manage to make that kind of, god damn, I'm blanking out now. Yeah, playmakers, they don't score that many goals. Like, do you see fucking Nicholas Backstrom scoring 40 goals a season? No. Do you see Anze Kopitar scoring 40 goals a season? No, you don't. Okay, the people like the Patrick Laines, the Alex Ovechkins, the Andrei Kuzmenkos, those are the people that are the snipers. And I'm telling you right now, both of these 2 are snipers. I hope you guys enjoyed. Those are my